good morning, and welcome, everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Great. So welcome to the Grow Your Business webcast series. My name is Craig, and I'll take you on a short journey today to learn more about Microsoft Dynamics ERP. Today's topic, as Jen said, is how to turn business data into business insight. The Grow Your Business webcast series highlights how Microsoft offers technology solutions designed to support your business goals and growth ambitions. Whether you are here to learn more about how to manage growth, connect with customers, manage security and compliance, or connect anywhere. So again, the topic today is about turning your business data into insight. You know, in my 15 years working very closely with so many accounting and ERP systems, I think one item that we can all agree on is that all ERP systems can essentially handle debits and credits. But to me, the differences lie in how software organizations or software enables teams and organizations to be able to leverage the systems in order to grow. So again, today it's about insights, and not just for executives, but for everyone, for line of business managers, anyone who would interface the system, in order to make good, effective decisions. So the first section I wanted to demonstrate or show you was around how do we put information to work, and specifically around a role-relevant experience. So with Dynamics ERP, we offer out of the box role-specific home pages. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here you see that I'm logged into my home page, and this is specific to the role that I signed up for when I first installed, or accessed, I should say, the Microsoft Dynamics ERP system. Very, again, similar look and feel to a lot of the Microsoft applications, in this case Outlook, and you'll see that my navigation will help me to surface more business data and help me have greater insights. So looking at this from the perspective of somebody in finance, I'll click on the finance area pages to access my accounts. And again, when I think about end users, here is that ability to look at a list view of information. In this case here, just a simple list of my general ledger accounts, and by selecting those items on the left-hand side, you can see that I have a quick snapshot of information on the right. So I'm able to quickly look at information in my day-to-day job as a finance person or in accounting, and without having to leave that screen, take data and provide insights. Here in the example, I've got 3 cash accounts, and I'm able to quickly see what comprises those accounts. Maybe continuing down that path around a end user, maybe somebody involved in the organization that is responsible for entering sales and sales orders. I click on the sales area page, and I'm going to select on the list of customers this time. Now, when you see this page here, what I did is I changed the view a little bit here. Instead of providing just the list view with a preview pane on the right-hand side, because Microsoft Dynamics ERP enables me to tailor the system the way I like to work, in this particular view, I wanted to see a preview pane of the records that I'm selecting. So for example, here I've got Aaron Fitz Electrical as the top line, and so that is highlighted down below in the information pane. So I can quickly see information or data without having to go into the card itself or the master record. Again, for Aaron Fitz, I can quickly see what their current balance is, any credit limit, payment terms, and so on. I also get a great visual reference of what's happening in my business. So for example, I have my top 3 customers alphabetized, Aaron Fitz, Adam Park, and Advanced Paper, and I see that those have a visual cue telling me that these customers are on hold. So I cannot necessarily enter in a sales order. We also have the ribbon, again, something very similar to other Microsoft Office applications that presents more of the common tasks relevant to an end user, but relevant to the area that I'm in. So for example, if I wanted to take a look at Adam Park, I simply check mark Adam Park. You see down below the information changes I have relevant to Adam Park, as well as the ribbon opens up. So if I want to apply any sales document or an aging, perhaps assess a finance charge, I can do that very quickly from this screen. So I'll come back to the home page here. So again, just the purpose of that first section was around gaining insight and making decisions for everybody in the organization. In this particular case, I had somebody in finance or somebody entering sales orders to be able to quickly look at information and make decisions. The second topic of our 5 I wanted to talk about was how do we transform data? I mentioned earlier, I think every ERP or accounting system can provide us with the ability to enter in transactions. I think where the differences lie is how do I take that information out of those systems and provide meaningful information, meaningful insights? How do I be able to look at trends? How can I predict customer behavior or look at correlations that I may not normally see in a report that was designed with rows or columns? So let's take a look at something here. And this is an example of a data model that I took out of the Microsoft Dynamics ERP system, and I've loaded it into Excel. So here we are. I'm using Excel. And one of the free add-ins you can see here in the center of the screen is called PowerView. And so on the right-hand side, when I insert a PowerView report, on the right-hand side is the data that's been pulled into this data model. And over on the right-hand side, I'll expand out the salesperson images. And I have a few pick lists or a few items that I can drag over to the right-hand side onto my palette to design this report. So I'll click on the salesperson ID at first. And so these are all the salespeople that we have in our Dynamics ERP database. And before I get started, I probably want to add a slicer just to provide me with some flexibility to slice on those individuals as I add more data to my palette. So I've added a salesperson ID. I've added a slicer represented by the bullets on the left-hand side. Let's go ahead and add a picture. So we capture some of the picture information or the JPEG files in our Dynamics ERP system. They could have come over from the employee card, from the HR payroll system. And so now I've got salesperson as well as a picture. Again, providing a little more meaningful or much more insight than I may have in a typical report. And let's go ahead and select the sales line items now. So I need to put data onto my palette. So select on the city. So I've got the list of all the cities that we've done transactions in, and let's go ahead and add sales amounts. So what I've got here on the left-hand side now, I've got salesperson ID, I've got a picture, I've got the city and the sales amounts by city for our organization. And I think most systems probably already do this today. Where I think some of the differentiators are is now for me in the isolation or the analysis and get some insight is to be able to filter on, say, for example, Erin J. Now, I only have just her picture, and I also only see information relevant to that sales representative. So because of the relationships and using PowerView, I'm able to create those connections for me. Now, what I want to do is highlight that in a different way, right? So we want to look at trends. I want to be able to see information in a three-dimensional way. I don't necessarily need to see rows and columns. I think we have those reports, and we've been managing our business over the years that way. But how do I manage growth? And so here might be an example of an overlay of a map based on the data that's being driven behind it. And so now I can take this, I can certainly socialize it, I can share it with people in the organization, or I can continue to drill in to see what this representative has done in their sales and where do we see strengths and where do we see opportunities in our organization. And I can continue to drill down into that data. So again, when I think about transforming big data, it's providing end users and consumers of information the ability to look at a data in a much different way than perhaps we're already doing it. What's a third way we can look at business data and into insight? I think we all agree that everybody's on the go. We have this need for information. We see the introductions of watches now and people wanting information on their wrist. But I'm sure there's many of us out there that report to executives, or we are an executive, and you want information on your tablet. You want information on your PC. You want it on your phone. So how does Microsoft Dynamics help that mobile user that's on access, on the go, but needs to be able to make decisions in the organization? So I think about business intelligence on the fly. Here's an example of, it's an app that we've introduced in the marketplace. It is an app that is available on the Windows 8 store. We've released it to other platforms, so they are in for approval for both the iOS and the Android platform. And this is an example of Business Analyzer. It is an app that is available, again, on a Windows 8 device. And here you see I'm on my tablet. And what this does is, for me as a consumer of information, as an executive, to be able to look at my information on the go. I'm not connected to the ERP system or the accounting system, but I've got this tablet that's connected to the cloud to my information. So I'll scroll over on the right-hand side, and so I can see some reports here. I've got budget tracking. I've got my gross profits KPI, my payables aging. And with a swipe of my finger, I can scroll to the right and see more charts. And so again, we could take any of the SQL Server Reporting Service reports and surface that on this display. We can also embed Excel reports, so you can take your favorite Excel reports and be able to look at and isolate information directly within this view. Well, the next step, as I would see it as business intelligence on the fly, is how do I look at, say, for example, the receivable summary? I want to drill down and see what's going on with the details of this. And so I drill in, I can see the report here. Now, the next thing I want to do is right-click on it, or if you're on your tablet, swipe down from the edge. And now I can see there's a few things going on here. I can take a look at the information icon, to see when this report last generated. I can have a link conversation, so I can have an instant message dialogue with whoever is the author of this report, share my screen out and have that dialogue. Or in this case here, what I want to do is I want to copy that. Because as the analysis goes in my world, I'm getting information that's great, but I need to build out my monthly report to our board, to our shareholders. So I can take that information that's being driven from the Dynamics ERP system and being able to drive that into a consumable format, in this case here, a PowerPoint, that I'm going to present later this month. So I'll grab that report, I'll go ahead and paste it into my file, into the page here, and now I've got building my PowerPoint. Well, I was thinking about, well, what is the next step in that socialization? If I take that business data into insights, I need to be able to look at that. I need to be able to present it, prep for it, as well as deliver that later on. So what I can do is take that file, save it out to the cloud. I could save it into my Office 365 site, and I'll call it the monthly planning presentation. And I'll save that. So now I've taken that data from my ERP system. I've used an app to look at it and review that information. I've built or started to build a PowerPoint presentation. And now I've got this out on my Office 365 document library where I can have others gain access to it. I can share this out. I can socialize it. But more importantly, when I think of BI on the fly, it's for me as that consumer, it doesn't matter what device that I'm getting at this information. So I may be in the office here today working on my presentation, save it out to an Office 365 site, and then perhaps later in the afternoon I'm on my tablet, I'm in a coffee shop, I might be on the road, the airport, being able to prep for this. So I go ahead and click on that presentation, and now I've got this PowerPoint online, the Office 365, the online version of Microsoft Office. And then I can scroll through and access this information here. So there's that budget tracking report. So again, when I take that information, socialize it, and now I have it for future use. So I've talked about how do I put information to work. We've talked about how do I transform big data into your next big idea. And then how do we get business intelligence on the fly? Connecting your people and your systems and your processes, to me, that's around the connectedness of a Microsoft solution. When we think about solutions that are integrated into your calendar, your everyday calendar, and your everyday email, and your business management solution, all that transfer together, and the ability for me to have a seamless experience so that I know as an end user, that world that I think of as structured, the ERP data to me is structured. And yet everything that I do in email and calendaring is unstructured. And I think Microsoft Dynamics ERP does a really good job of aligning and bridging that gap between the structured world and unstructured world. And I think that's very paramount to all of the end users today, is when I click on a link or I click on a report, I want to be able to invoke and grab information without having to log into another system or having to wonder where it's coming from. And so when we have today the integration to email system, or as I showed briefly on the Business Analyzer app, to be able to have your link, your corporate instant messaging and presence directly built into the reporting app. We have obviously the ability to email sales orders, invoices, purchase orders directly that have been authored in Word, so not necessarily this embedded, archaic, rigid report writer, but to be able to author those in Microsoft Word, a word processing platform, and then have the integration to Office 365, which you saw in the demonstration here, where I took information in a report and saved it to my Office 365 document library. So that's what we think about when we think about connecting people and processes, that structured world of ERP and accounting systems merging with the unstructured world of Microsoft Word, Outlook, and Excel. Well, I think the last topic here, the last point to make in this journey is putting the power of the cloud to work for your business. It's very clear, and I'm sure everyone has been aware of the change and the shift and how cloud has become so advantageous and so strategic for businesses today to replace archaic hardware systems and be able to use the cloud to save money. We see more and more of that everywhere. And so how is Microsoft Dynamics ERP designed to satisfy and help you in your business? Well, it's the flexibility in that I think what's unique to our organization and to our software is that you have a cloud solution. So the presentations that I just delivered, all of which are in the cloud. So my login in my Dynamics ERP system was a cloud-based solution. But what makes it unique is that we have both the ability to host or to deliver, I should say, a cloud solution, but also an on-premise solution or a hybrid of both. And that's very unique in the marketplace today. So again, in the short journey here, when I think about 5 ways to turn business data into insight, we looked at kind of role-relevant pages and the navigation to help end users get through the information they need in their day-to-day job. We looked at a Power View in Excel and to be able to look at information a little bit differently than just a row and a column or a tabular report. And then we looked at the apps here, and the Business Analyzer app, as we continue to develop and make more of that information available for our end users. So with that, I wanted to just kind of wrap up and just to talk about what we saw. I want to thank everybody for investing time today to learn more about Microsoft Dynamics. The goal of this session was to highlight how Microsoft offers technology solutions designed to support your business goals and growth ambitions. We have a wealth of resources available to you at any time. The first link provides information about our solutions, and the second link, Take a Test Drive, enables you to take a guided tour of our solutions. So with that, I will go ahead and close today's sessions, and I want to say thank you, everybody.